I'm still puzzled by John Harbaugh. I think John Harbaugh is a good coach, but it's been a while. It's going on a while here. He's got a Super Bowl, so you can certainly laud that over everybody. I believe I saw the stat 2 playoff wins in 9 seasons. 2? Sean McDermott has more than that in Buffalo.
Yes.
So I'm not saying fire John Harbaugh. You were the number 1 team in the NFL. You looked the part. But I don't know how you allow like a team to come into your building and dictate the terms like that. They got punched in the face repeatedly yesterday, and they never adjusted to it.
I think that one's going to be pretty hard to swallow because the Chiefs didn't run away from you. They were right there.
You could have come back, yes.
And you had, there were plays to be made, and just, the fumble, the interceptions. I don't know what was up. I really don't.
Well, I think what we know what was up is like the head coach doesn't coach offense. He doesn't coach defense. He's a special teams coordinator is his background.
Yeah.
Certainly knows football, but I think it's fair to wonder, like, how involved is he in game planning? How involved is he? Like, because he was asked about his game plan, John Harbaugh. And, hey, how come you guys stopped running the football and you got away from it? And he basically says whatever they decide to do, he just rolls with. That's a weird thing to say out loud, isn't it? Like, when you imagine that coach, even if his background is more defense than offense or vice versa,
you still have...
You got to be involved with it.
Well, you got to back your guys, too. It's like, hey, they took it away. They were stacking the box. Come up with something. They were just stacking the box, and we were,
Well, I love me some Lamar, but 37 pass attempts is not, I think,
No.
What you want to be seeing. You definitely have to have more than 16 rush attempts. The thing in Kansas City is that you can look at that as the reverse of Andy Reid, offensively based guy, right? We know his pedigree. He doesn't have to worry about defense.
Yeah.
Spags has been doing that a long time. He beat the undefeated Patriots. He beat them again. He's won Super Bowls now in Kansas City. Like, also weirdly lucky in this way, he doesn't seem to want to be a head coach. He seems like he's okay just being a D coordinator.
Didn't he try it one? I thought it was a head coach for like a season or two, and it didn't go so well.
Well, yeah, but I'll look that up.
Maybe I'm misremembering him and somebody else.
You might be right. I'll have to go look it up. But my point is, like, he's never a name you hear like, hey, Spags is finally ready to go out, right? He's the Brent Venables to Dabo. I'm finally ready to go do my own thing. He seems pretty content with just being a kick-ass defensive coordinator. He was the Rams coach from 2009 to 11.
Yeah.
Then he went to Baltimore as part of – he actually credits John Harbaugh's coaching staff for his kind of comeback there. Then he goes to New York. Then he was the interim coach in 2017 when they fired what was his nuts?
Oh.
The doofus. What was his name?
I can't remember.
I think Dallas hired him as an OC or something. What was that guy's name? He's the one that benched Eli.
Yeah, I know.
God, I'm blanking on his name. And then after that, he went to Kansas City in 2019. They won the Super Bowl, beat the Niners in that game. He's stayed put ever since. He just seems very content being an assistant coach and a coordinator. And God bless him for identifying that. But Harbaugh in Baltimore.
Joe Judge?
No, it was the one before Joe
Pat
Judge.
Shermer?
The Giants are terrible. Before Shermer.
That was Spagno. Oh, Ben McAdoo.
McAdoo! Oh, what a dweeb. Ben McAdoo. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. What a dweeb. And maybe it wasn't even McAdoo that he filled in for, but...
Yeah, it was.
It was? Okay, yeah. So he was the interim for...
So McAdoo was right after Coughlin.
Yeah, that's right. And then McAdoo benched Eli. Oh, man, McAdoo was such a dweeb. You knew it the minute you saw him. That guy isn't winning in this league. Here is Lamar on just trying to build off of their loss.
I'm not frustrated at all. I'm angry about losing. We're a game away from the Super Bowl. We've been waiting all this time, all these moments for an opportunity like this, and we fell short. But I feel like our team we're gonna build. This offseason we're gonna get right, get better, grind, and try to be in this position again. But on the other side, a victory.
Here's the thing about it, and it's not that they can't add a piece or two here and there. And I am wondering how you get better. I mean, you were already the best team in football this year in the regular season. You were the number 1 seed. You had everybody come to your building. You've got Zay Flowers. You still have. Andrews clearly wasn't healthy.
How many of the guys got injured? J.K. Dobbins and some other running backs.
But that didn't matter for them all year. Their running game, like their running attack, didn't. Dobbins can't stay healthy at all. He's been hurt basically every year of his career. This is a team that showed us we can run the football, whether with Gus Bus or somebody else.
Yeah.
And they just gave up on it. I'm still sitting here today stunned. Like Detroit's comeback or Detroit's blown lead and Niners comeback is a huge deal. Everybody's going to talk a lot about that. I'm still sitting here going, I can't believe Baltimore looked that pathetic and just rolled over.
I'd be more concerned about them. Detroit, you still have a lot of, they still have a lot of young players. They relied a lot on rookies. They did things that haven't been done forever in Detroit. So I think after you get over the sting of the loss, I think they'll be confident about. I think it'll really fuel them. I think Dan Campbell will know how to use that heartbreak, that just gut punch to fuel them, to let that not be the last chapter of their story.
And it's a fair point. Somebody says you get better by play calling in an AFC championship. Absolutely. And Monken's coming back by all reports. And you should run it all back. But are you going to turtle the minute you go down 10 or 7 next time like that? I just wasn't accustomed to seeing Baltimore do that, completely abandon a game plan and what your identity was all year, the way that they did, and clean up mistakes. And that's the other thing. How many penalties? They just were undisciplined.
Yep.
They broke away from their identity. Just all the credit to Kansas City because they did something to break that team, whether defensive guys or offensive guys.
Yeah, they certainly forced their hand but they didn't have anything else to go. I mean, that was the thing. They tried to go do something else, but they didn't have a something else. Their identity is so based around running the football, being physical and tough. Lamar Jackson then as the wild card, and then once we draw everybody up, then we hit our receivers. We try to hit you for the big play.
Well, and somebody says, Lamar, unfortunately, he's going to develop. He has a reputation, and I would argue he had that going into the playoffs, even though he didn't have that many playoff games under his belt. Yeah, 1 seed losing at home and losing in dominant fashion like that. Absolutely, there's going to be a lot of. Can you win the big game with Lamar? I'll say this because I'm still all in on Lamar. I put up a poll question early last week, like. It's the most predictable thing that all the national shows. Can you win? Can you do it? I will still take Lamar all day. What I would say to that, though, is how many Mahomes do you have in the league? Josh Allen can't win the big game. Joe Burrow hasn't won the big game. He can't stay healthy. Lamar hasn't won the... You're only going to find one of these, it seems like. Mahomes seems to kind of be the outlier to all of this. We get out of the Brady 20-year run. Welcome into the Mahomes 20-year run. It feels like it's all an inevitable thing where we're gonna have 40 years in our lives, it feels like, of just seeing two guys dominate and win all of the championships most of the time. And yeah, you have some years where Brady didn't win 20 titles. Those are the years you got to capitalize. And this kind of felt like one of those years for a team. And Kansas City's defense got better and said, hold our beer. We're gonna go with Patrick. We're gonna go back to the Super Bowl with our great defensive coordinators. So, what quarterback are you not asking that question about? Can you name one outside of Mahomes? That's why I think the conversation's kind of ridiculous. It's like it's not that it shouldn't be a thing at all. Like Lamar didn't play good, but when you say these things about quarterbacks. You only have one quarterback in the entire league that you go, not worried about it. Everybody else, you're like, is he going to throw the turnover? Is he going to play well? Is the play calling going to be right?
Yeah.
For all of them. And that's the difference.